Since its release, Breath of the Wild has been a constant favorite of mine to play. It's legendary what it did for Nintendo, and honestly for me as well, it gave me a real appreciation of just discovery again in Zelda. Like, I haven't felt that way for a Zelda game in a while, and that sense of discovery, wonder, exploring the landscapes, more than I thought possible. I was really sunk into exploring Breath of the Wild's Hyrule, and not since The Legend of Zelda original on NES have I really felt that attached to a world map without even really a story to go with it. It was just that open world to explore. I thought was brilliant. You know, I felt that way about Red Dead and some other games in the past, but Breath of the Wild I thought really nailed it. You know, my head's already spinning at the amount of things I could possibly do every time I turn on the game. And then the first DLC dropped. And everyone's talking about the Master Sword Trials, and yeah, it was very cool, but for me, the small add-on piece of that DLC was the best part of the entire game it turned into, which was the hero's path. It's a pretty simple feature. Essentially, the game just tracks where you go. It leaves a green path behind as you travel and explore across the Hyrulean wastes. You've got about 256 hours to play with. Now, for a long time, I just thought it was useful knowing where I haven't been, right? I'm close to around 200 hours in at this point. You know, I don't see green squiggly line. I should go there. And it provides just an easy way to figure out where you haven't been. Self-explanatory. And if I stuck with just that, yeah, it's a fine feature. But that's only really a part of why I really fell in love with this amazing idea. The words fast travel and open world go hand in hand in most things. It's kind of a fickle thing though, fast travel. Sometimes it feels like a near necessity, like I couldn't play this game without it. Other times I wonder why they even put it in the game. So after watching my very own hero's path, it was very just funny to see exactly, like, you don't think of exactly how you're moving through an area until you watch it and realize, like, wow, I go in big loops, or where the hell was I? What was I thinking on this pathway, right? And for me, in this playthrough Breath of the Wild, it's still underway. I tried to find every shrine I possibly could as fast as possible. So I'm just all over the place, right? And it's great to see that route. And obviously, thanks to Hero's Path, you see where you haven't been yet. So it really helps me out there. But what I really started to hate, what I really came to dislike, was just how much I was fast traveling in the end. How often I missed out on a new route, like on a new experience, a quest to uncover, a new place to check out. I just kept trying to get back to Hateno quicker, or Kakariko for supplies, just like a minute faster than I could have by just wandering around and exploring. You know, you could make your own fun, you could make your own quests by just not even fast traveling in Breath of the Wild. And the amount of stuff you'll find to do, resources you'll find, it's a better experience than just watching a load screen every couple minutes. And it really changed everything. It changed my whole playthrough, really. So I really started loathing anytime my icon would disappear and show up like a couple like meters to the right or left. It's like, why did I even bother doing that? I could have just walked. I could have paraglided, slid down with my awesome shield. There's so many things I could have done instead of just holding a button down and fast traveling. So eventually, I set up a fast travel medallion by my house in Hateno, and basically forced myself to really only use it if I had to save, or I had to get back to Hateno for some kind of supplies, and then I did fast travel right back to where I was. It cut down just so much weird, dumb routes that I was taking because I just be like, all right, time to fast travel home. And it would cut journeys short. And you would never realize this in any other game because you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't see how many times you fast traveled back to home if you didn't have this Hero's Path mode. And that's the main reason why I fell in love with it, was because it just changed how I approached the game. By just existing, this feature changed everything for me. Like, to its very core, my routes, everything has changed because of this awesome idea Nintendo had to put this in the game. I mean, I want this feature in every open world game now, really. It's great. It's a great idea to see exactly where you've been. I don't know why more games haven't done it. I really hope in the future more games will. It's just such a cool idea. As I've been spinning the yarn here, you've been seeing my hero's path in the background, right? And you could see my fast traveling just non-stop, bam, 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 throughout the map. But over time, you'll start to see the impact Hero's Path has on me and my journeys in the game. And it just starts taking over these long, long routes I'm going on, really exploring the actual map these developers put so much love, time, and effort into. There's always something to find out there. There's always something to uncover, to discover. Even if it's just a reference, it's there for you to find. And that also just fueled more and more motivation for me to stop fast traveling. Over the latter half of the last 100 hours or so, you really start seeing these crazy routes, and it motivates me to make even more. It motivates me even more against fast travel in Breath of the Wild. Just the avenues you have to explore, it's just effortlessly fun for me. And when I know I'm done with the journey, I know I get to look back and watch exactly where I went, watch my route unfold. And that loop has been an addiction for me. And it's just such a cool thing they added in, and it's so small, right? It's through a lens, you could just see this hero's path. It's like, all right, I could just look where I haven't been yet, done and done. Who gives a shit? And that's it. That's the feature. But you can see what I mean with how much this feature can really constantly be there for you to use and change your playthrough. And what you do on the day. You get to check out here's path. Oh, I haven't been here. I haven't been to this mountain yet. Let's check this out. It just keeps going. It's such a cool idea. I'm just gushing about this nonstop. I'm saying the same thing over and over, but I really love it. Okay. Even just on the Great Plateau, I knew I already really enjoyed exploring the map, but with Hero's Path, I really fell in love with it. It really just solidified the whole game experience for me. Hero's Path, if you haven't already, just makes you enjoy the journey, you know? Live in that moment. I've mentioned this before, but I haven't felt this way about a Zelda map since the original NES Zelda. I blew the ink out of my local library to print out an entire Zelda map, and I marked out my routes constantly on pencil, just to figure out where I was going, what I was doing next. It was really amazing, and I finally felt that again in Breath of the Wild with Hero's Path. And that level of map tracking, it just fueled my love for that too. And it's what led me to mark up and track everything I did in Red Dead Redemption 2 for that map. And most games now, I really try to pay more attention to what I'm doing, and then all that can return back to Breath of the Wild's Hero's Path. I mean, before that, of course, too, you try and track where you've been, where the map will uncover itself, where, God, Assassin's Creed had all those towers to climb, right, to synchronize. But really, I haven't, Breath of the Wild, I didn't felt that way since NES Zelda. It really just nailed that sense of tracking and exploration, because I mean, in Breath of the Wild, you do the Assassin's Creed tower climb as well to synchronize the map. But that isn't enough for me anymore. And that's why when Hero's Path popped up, it really just fueled all of that exploration even more in such a positive way, instead of just fast traveling endlessly. At this point, I've already been showing it, but you could really see my efforts to avoid fast travel. And you could see it, my efforts paying off, and all these, look at the green squiggles. I'm everywhere, and I still have places to be. But it's not just a line, and then it's segmented, and it just disappears back to Hateno or wherever. No, I'm actively exploring the map. And there's still more to do for me. There's still more quests, mountains, rivers, lakes, everything. There's everything still to seek out. And with Hero's Path, I get to do just that. I get to really see exactly where I haven't been and where I'm going to. It's just so cool. And fast traveling is still, of course, incredibly useful, but I think it's an easy trap to fall into, because you could just do it at will. You can fast travel anytime you want, for any reason. And I think it will kill some of the experience for a lot of players, and they don't really realize it. And maybe they will see it eventually when they check out Hero's Path, when they want to reflect on their journey, to look back and say, I just don't want to say myself, wow, all I did was fucking fast travel. That's basically the main reason. But I think for anybody, seeing their path and Hero's journey would change how they play their game. Because it's ever changing, it's ever ongoing, Breath of the Wild. And for me, it was on a fine path, but it really, Hero's Path saved my playthrough. It saved my mindset for the whole game. And I just wanted to give it its time in the sun to gush about it, because I see some people mention it's a cool feature, but I really think that it's, honestly, looking back, it's Breath of the Wild's best addition. Over any of the DLC they did, for me, it's just Hero's Path. It's genuinely cool, and I could gush about it more. I could gush about it all day long for what it did for me. Just take a look at what I've completed so far. Look at this map, and there's still more things to do. Enemies, bosses, everything in between. I get to do it, and it all just gets even better because I know where I'm going, I know where I want to go, and I know where I haven't been. It all gets even better, and that's really thanks in my eyes to Breath of the Wild's greatest feature, the Hero's Path. Also, oh god, there's a whole sequel I haven't played yet. Well, excuse me, princess.